Solving quadratics by factorizing is quite possibly the most important skill at GCSE. Okay, you're basically going to be using it everywhere. So, especially in the non-calculator paper, but really everywhere else. So there's three different ways we can solve quadratics. It's by factorizing, provided that you have integer solutions. Well, not even just integer, sorry, rational solutions, so you could have fractions as well. Then you have the quadratic formula, which we'll discuss in another video. And my favorite, completing the square, which we'll do in another video. So, solve each equation using factorizing. Now, a key part to all of this is making sure that the quadratic equals 0. Now, the cool thing about quadratics is we can always rewrite them as multiplication. And the good thing about multiplication is if you have any number of things multiplied to give you 0, one of those things needs to be 0. So, if I have x squared minus 11x plus 24 is 0, I rewrite it as a product of its factors. That's why we call it factorization. We're writing it as a product of factors. We have x and x. Okay, so we're saying what multiplies to give you 24? 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and odd job, which I already know is going to be that option to make 11, 4 and 6, 5 no, 6 we get back to the list. So 3 and 8 to make minus 11, I need both of them to be negative. Right. Two things multiply to give you 0. One of them needs to be 0. X is 3 is 0, or x minus 8 is 0. Okay? So, now you're saying something minus 3 is 0. Something minus 3 is 0. 3 minus 3 is 0. What we're doing is we're taking the minus 3 and moving it to the other side. A minus 3 on the left is a positive 3 on the right. Or, minus 8, when you move it over, becomes plus 8. Okay? They could both be 0. 0 times 0 is also 0. 0 times anything is 0. 0 times anything is 0. Here, this is an issue. I mean, with my younger years, I teach them about naughty negatives. All right? But I think you guys probably wouldn't think of it that way. But now you know. Yeah, naughty negatives, we don't like solving with negative power. Well, not negative powers, but the leading power being negative. Okay? So, naughty negatives, what we're going to do is take all of these terms to the other side so they become positive. So a minus x squared on the left is a positive x squared on the right. A minus 13x on the other side becomes a plus 13x. And a positive 30 on the other side is minus 30. And all I've done is I've just written it the other way around. Okay? Another way you could have done is just multiply through by minus 1. And then, yeah, same thing. Now we go about factorizing. What multiplies to give you 30 but adds to give you 13? 10 and 3. Both of them need to be plus. Okay? Both of them, wait, hold on. Both of them need to be plus. Wait, 10 and 13, that doesn't actually work. This is a very common mistake. In fact, I nearly made it myself. This is probably why it's good that I do these without planning. I just find the question. So students would actually write this as the answer. But why is this wrong? 10 times 3 is plus 30, not minus 30. So I've been a bad teacher for a second and not listed my options. Don't do it, guys. Just write all the options, all right? So you have 1 and 30, 2 and 15, 3 and 10, not 4, 5 and 6, and that's it. So, yes, both of these would have to be plus to make plus 13, but they do not multiply to give you minus 30. This cannot make 13, neither can that. So this is a Neil Does Trickery special. To make plus 13, we actually need plus 15 and a minus 2. So, you guys saw nothing. There's no evidence. X minus 2 and then x plus 15. Okay, so now either this is 0, so we've rewritten it as multiplication, or x plus 15 is 0. A minus 2, we move it to the other side. A minus 2 on the left is a plus 2 on the right. Or the plus 15, when we move it over, a plus 15 on the left is a minus 15 on the right. Part 2, now we need to expand and now make sure everything is on one side, so that one side equals 0. Now, let me show you guys again the trick to expanding square brackets. You square the first thing, x, when you square it, x squared. Then you multiply these together. X times 1 is x, and then you double it. When you double x, you get 2x. So we get 2x. And then we square the last number. 1 squared is 1. Is 4x plus 9. But obviously you guys can write out the bracket twice and do your FOIL. The next thing is we need to move everything to one side so that one side equals 0. Always move the terms to the side with the positive x squared. So it's these two terms, we need to do a Beyonce to them and move them to the left. Okay? So the plus 4x, I'm going to move it this way and minus 4x. And the plus 9, I'm going to move it and minus 9. And that's dealt with. So we have x squared. 2 minus 4 is minus 2x. Then we have 1 minus 9 is minus 8 is 0. Now we can factorize. Should we be a good student? List out our options. We have 1 and 8, 2 and 4. Which one of those options is going to make a minus 2? It can only be 2 and 4. How do we make minus 2 though? Minus 2 comes from doing minus 4 plus 2. Now we have x plus 2 is 0. Yeah, so now we're at the stage where we have multiplication. Or x minus 4 is 0. Take that to the other side. A plus 2 on the left is a minus 2 on the right. Here, a minus 4 on the left is a positive 4 on the right. And that's done. Finally, we have the interesting, it's basically the same, right, as the one we've just done. So part D, we have 2x plus 1, x minus 2. So we just have another thing to expand, two things to expand. But the way we factorize might be a little bit different. So here, 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x times minus 2 is minus 4x. Here we have plus 1x. Minus 4 plus 1 is minus 3x. Then we have 1 times minus 2 is minus 2, is 2x. And then we have plus 10. Now again, just like over here, we're going to do a Beyonce, bring everything to the left. This plus 2 on this side will be minus 2x. And the plus 10 on the other side is minus 10. All right, so we have equals 0. We have 2x squared. Minus 3x minus 2x is minus 5x. Why not write the 0 so close? Then we have minus 2 minus 10 is minus 12 is 0. Now, we can't divide through by 2, so we're going to have to go for the oi method, Bun AC. We're going to factorize it in the exact same way we have always been doing. I'm going to do two brackets. I'm going to show you guys some tricks here. What multiplies to give you 2x squared is 2x and x. For 12, I have 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. I immediately know that 2 and 6 is not going to work because if either 2 or 6 goes here, you'll have two even numbers not allowed. Because you can't factorize out an even number because you can't factorize out an even number here. 3 and 4, always pick the numbers closest together first. If I choose 3 and 4, the 4 cannot go here. It has to go here because you're not allowed two even numbers here or two multiples of 2. So we 4 and 3. Now we do oi. 2x times 4 is 8x. This is 3x. How does 8x and 3x make minus 5? Is if you have minus 8 plus 3. So I had that plus 3 and minus 8. There you go. Either 2x plus 3 is 0 or x minus 4 is 0. Let me just remove this for cleanliness of I don't know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, move that to the other side. A minus 4 on the left is a positive 4 on the right. Here we need to move the 3. A minus 3 on the left is a plus 3 on the left is a minus 3 on the right. And then we just divide by 2. That cancels. X is minus 3 over 2. And X is 4. So I've given you guys 4 varying levels of difficulty solving quadratics. So guys, if you learned something today, I'd really appreciate if you hit the like button, subscribe for more GCSE maths content, and if you're interested in my GCSE maths courses, more details and links in the description. And feel free to join the Lung Gang Reddit page if you're going to submit your questions. We're not going to do your homework for you, but the Lung Gang Reddit is there for you. The link is in the description. You can send your questions and get feedback from the community. I'll see you in the next video. Peace. Nice.